let's talk about some Doom Tower. Hello everybody, I'm Roadblock and this is a Raid Shadow Legends video. So as you can see, we are on the free-to-play still. I say still because what will be yesterday's video for you, but was 10 minutes ago for me, was recorded on the free-to-play. But let me explain kind of why I'm going to be recording the next couple of videos on the free-to-play. Because my main account is doing Spider. Why is the main account doing Spider? Because the main account needs to hit 400,000 in rewards, and right now it is at... main account, where are you at? 282,000. So just under 300,000. I have zero clue how much energy I have left to go through over on that account and gems, but getting to like 410 is my goal, because apparently getting to just 400 doesn't guarantee tier 6 the following freaking week. Because personal rewards CVC, I needed to apparently get 405,000, and I did like 400 and like maybe like 401 or something. So I was really disappointed when I logged in today or yesterday and was tier 5. I was like, what the heck? What is going on? So either way, we're going to record over here on the free to play, which I think is really good, because what we're going to be talking about for the next couple of videos over the next couple of days for you guys is going to be Doom Tower. Now, I am pretty low on Doom Tower, but I am going to use Doom Tower hard as the example, and I mostly just wanted to kind of give you guys some concepts and ideas for teams. Today, I think we're going to focus on wave clear, which I think is going to be valuable for you guys. Listen up. I just got a new promo link that you can use to follow along with me on my latest free-to-play adventure and get a free Elenaril, as well as 3 more powerful epics as you level up. Here's how to do it. Log out of Plarium Play and uninstall. Click the link in the description and register with a brand new email. Launch Raid and complete the tutorial. Go to your inbox and claim your first champ. Don't miss out on your chance to get Elenaril right after signing up, as well as Fayne, Uugo, and Tagoar as you progress through Raid. Click on my link right now and let's crush this together. So when it comes to wave clear in Doom Tower, there are some pretty hard waves later on. I will go over a few suggestions for you guys, but for the most part, I'm just running kind of, yes, I've got some pretty strong champions in here. That could very easily be we could even do like a Uugo and Wukong would be perfectly suitable there as well, which are two probably more free-to-play options. And then even if you don't have Thor, you could go something like Seer. Seer works best with reset champions. I don't have a very good reset champion, so I just go with my 2 best nukers for AoE, and that pretty much works fine. Now, one thing I'm using an Ursula here. I don't really need Ursula, except for the fact that she gives me the fastest speed aura out there for Doom Tower right now. As far as all my speed auras go, technically Lammasu is just as good, but actually Lammasu would probably be better, to be completely honest with you, because she brings more. I don't know if she's built on this account or not. Oh yeah, she is, and in all feral. Yeah, let's go with Lammasu. Let's change this up, because she'd be better, I think, for the wave clear. Now, there is the off chance that we die, and then Lammasu obviously is less effective should we die, but I like the idea of the cooldown reset. I love the idea of fears and a free decrease attack in here as well. Mithrala is in there for the cleanse and Hex, which will spread some of the damage around, and you could also use Armands in a team like this and get a lot of success should you have him. Me personally, I'm using Odin because Odin actually gives me revive and gives me stripping and gives me stun and decreased defense, which is actually what his primary role is there. And I like Mithrala because she gives me the buffs for everybody. So pretty basic team here. You're not going to see anything too crazy, but you can kind of think of these ideas, right? So there's the decreased defense and the stun, but I don't think it's super necessary, because if you look at their turn meters, they never even got a turn. The stun is a little bit overkill, but it's an opportunity to use Odin. He's a lot of fun. And then Thor is a powerhouse, as well as Nice, obviously, right? These aren't meant to be showcases. Please understand that I'm not sitting here trying to be like, oh yeah, if you're struggling in the waves, just use Nice. use your best nuker. That could be Sun Wukong, that could be Kale. Like, it doesn't really matter, but the one thing that you're really going to want to do is to maximize the value of your nukers. So for Thor, which he self-buffs and doesn't really need Mithrala, but we are bringing in Hex, we're bringing, which is also a form of control because of petrification, is what I was trying to say. And so there's a lot of different reasons for some of these champions, but this is a very consistent wave clear team for me. Even the wave clear team over on my main account is not as consistent as this team, mostly because Nice and Odin are so freaking good. It actually, I think she's really easy to get, Lamasu, and I understand that a lot of people are going to be like, well, we haven't won a siege in forever, but if you're playing against other teams of your tier, you have a pretty good chance of getting a win, I feel like, especially if you implement some pretty solid strategies. I do have a siege video out there where I've talked about some of the strategies that we use to beat clans that are much stronger than us. But those strategies are starting to fail us now, so eventually you will rank up too high. But we have done a great job of prevailing against clans that we probably should have lost to be completely honest. And we are, pretty much everybody in my clan now has Lamasu, and she's very, very good, as you can see here, especially with the cooldown reset and everything involved in her kit. Just love this champion. And she has a matching aura in all battles to what my current fastest aura in Doom Tower is. So I highly recommend her for Doom Tower. As you can see, I just realized that she would be really good. And if you have her, you likely have enough to put her in a Feral set, which makes a lot of sense and increases your damage output a ton, as you can see right there. Now, granted, that's not all Feral set. These are pretty easy waves. We are at the lower level of Doom Tower, but you know, work with me here, guys. I've just started to play this account again, even if just for a little bit and even if a short limited time. So unfortunately, I don't have the harder waves unlocked for the sake of the video, but I will tell you that I have beaten all of the Doom Tower stages, and this works. This team works well all the way up through them. Now, let's talk about some of the more difficult stages. We'll go ahead and pop out of here and talk about some of the champions in the more difficult stages. As you can see, we've completed a quest, got some more energy, got some arena refills that I bet you are 24 hours. They're 99 days. Yay! Good job, Raid. I'm actually very happy about that. So again, the rewards, the fact that they're 99 days is very, very good. So let's talk about some champions in Doom Tower that are quite difficult to deal with. I'm going to start with one that I think can give a lot of people trouble, and that is going to be Mortu Macabre. Now, I love Mortu Macabre, not going against him per se, but he was one of my strongest arena champions for a while on my account. I pulled him very early, and I absolutely love him, but it's very important to understand how he works so you can understand how to counter him. Mortu Macabre has a 20% chance to unlock a secret skill Peril for 1 turn when attacked, and then they also have a 20% chance to fill their turn meter. So, why is this important? Well, Peril is a 2x hitter that ignores shields, block damage, and all of defense, all of it, meaning that it doesn't matter if you have 1,000 or 10,000 defense, he's going to go right through all of that and kill your champions. Oh, and by the way, they cannot be revived. He is one of the more difficult champions for players to deal with in Raid Shadow Legends early game because of these features. I keep trying to get this chain in the way because I think it's kind of cool. Now, there are a few different ways to deal with him. I have dealt with him a few different ways. Obviously, stun, polymorph, lockout, provoke, all of these are great. Freeze, petrification. These are all great ways to deal with Mortu Macabre. But there's one other way that I love, and that way is Geomancer. So Geomancer is very, very cool because of his passive. Now, let's start with this ability. So fully depletes the turn meter, fills his turn meter by the amount they lose, and Book places 100% burn and weaken on the target for 3 turns. But here's the great part. Decreases the damage all allies receive by 15% and deflects that damage onto each enemy under an HP burn placed by this champion. If there are multiple champions on the team with the skill, only one will activate. We know that. Whenever this champion is attacked, deflects 30% of the damage instead. When deflecting damage on each enemy hit, has a 30% chance of dealing additional damage equal to 3% of the target's max HP. Okay, so here's why I love Geomancer as a counter to Mortu Macabre. Because he places the burn, he doesn't have to hit Mortu Macabre and give him peril stack. So as long as you bring no AoE A1 champions, and by the way, there is a downside for Geo, we'll get to that in a second, but if you bring no other AoE A1 champions and you don't hit Mortu Macabre, if you just manual the fight and put that burn on him, every time your team takes damage, Mortu Macabre is getting hit with that damage, and that does not trigger peril. So himself is going to do damage. Other champions on the team are going to do damage to that Mortu Macabre. So they're going to kill the Mortu Macabre for you. That has been one of the best ways for me to deal with Mortu Macabre back in the day, before I had a better roster, was to simply throw Geomancer into the team, put this burn on Mortu Macabre, and just watch him die from his own team, which I love. I love that strategy. So if you guys have ever struggled to beat Mortu Macabre, that is a great opportunity. What is the downside then to Geomancer? Well, Geomancer, of course, has an AoE A1, so there is the chance that, you know, if Mortu doesn't die fast enough, he could give Mortu Macabre a peril proc, which is less than ideal, but it is doable. Trust me. So, very good option there. Some of the other areas that you're going to deal with are going to be the freezing areas. Even on the team that you guys just saw me use, I have some of those issues as well. Really cleanse, and you're going to need, the best way to deal with freeze, especially Tormin freeze, is going to be cleanse and block debuffs. That is going to be a really good way. So something like Pythion, who was a fusion, is very good because he cleanses everything and puts block debuffs, so Tormin won't just refreeze everybody. Something you need to watch out for with some of your other cleansers that you might have on the account, something like a Mithrala, is that Mithrala cleanses but then puts strengthen and shield, and you could technically get frozen again if you understand how Tormin works, which we'll talk about right now. So for Tormin, his passive, he has a 20% chance of placing freeze when they receive a buff or have their turn meter filled, and that applies twice per turn, once for buffs and once for turn meter fill. So you want to be careful about bringing like an Arbiter and bringing buffs, and you want to be careful about turn meter fills, also Arbiter, right? So Arbiter brings buffs and turn meter, so she triggers that twice. In the case of something like Mithrala, who could cleanse off the freeze but then place buffs, boom, now you have another chance of getting a freeze, which can be extremely frustrating to deal with. So especially, it's something that you can definitely run into quite often. You want to be careful not to bring anybody that cleanses, but then also places buffs that are not block debuffs. So good way to deal with Tormin in that. Elva being chief among them. So, you know, if you do want to be a low spender, you take a short break from the game while everyone's kind of taking a break from the game, and you come back and you want to do that $20 for Elva. By the way, I'm not, it may sound like I'm shilling for this. I'm not. I'm not getting paid by Plarium for this. I'm not getting paid by Plarium at all. I'm just saying that sounds like a really good deal, just being completely honest with you, because she gets that block debuffs and that increased speed, so, and a full cleanse. So she is a perfect counter in this for Tormin, to be able to get you through that as well, and a reviver and an increased speed aura, all that stuff. So love Elva, and she would be very, very good to help you guys get through those waves. Now, what are some more difficult waves to deal with? Well, you're going to have the Siphi Rotos waves, tend to give people a lot of trouble. Ultimately, my recommendation is to just try to bring some lockdown, lockout, you know, whether it's locking out their abilities, whether it's stun, petrification, maybe bring a UDK to counter the Rotos. If you don't know why UDK is such a good Rotos counter, UDK, and I say just bring a UDK because he was a fusion, or sorry, he was a login champion, not even a fusion, way back when, and he's a very, very good counter to Rotos because he redirects the attack from one champion to him, and he is the negative affinity, well, he's the positive affinity to Rotos, being force affinity, Rotos being magic. Rotos has an increased chance of weak hitting Ultimate Death Knight, which is very, very big. So Ultimate Death Knight is a pretty good Rotos counter. Because of that, he also can shield and heal himself. He can also decrease enemy attack and provoke. You know, great option, great champion. And I used him for a very, very long time in wave clearing situations, just in general, because he's a really good support and he brings a good shield and can be a battery to a lot of stuff. So just wanted to give a couple of tips and tricks there when it comes to wave clearing. If you have a Seer, Seer is very, very good at wave clearing. She does not have to have reset. The runs will take longer, but she is probably one of the hardest hitting AoE wave clears possible to be complete. I say possible, that's probably not the right word to use, but extremely accessible champion, being an epic. Yes, avoid epic, admittedly, and I know there are some of you out there that still don't have Godseeker and Neri, and some of you that still don't have Seer. I get it. I'm sure seeing a +3 Seer here is infuriating, but great option for wave clear. I can't understate that enough. I highly recommend her. She does need a little bit of support, just needs some buffs, but with a little bit of ignore defense and some good supports to give her buffs to cleanse off, very, very solid option. And there are a lot of free reset options out there as well. But we'll go ahead and call this a video. I'm way over how long I wanted this to be, but I wanted to start with just some wave clear stuff as we dive into this Doom Tower analysis for you guys. So yes, thanks for watching. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. It's the best way to support the channel, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Take care.